friends. Welcome to the Y on Earth Community Podcast. I'm your host, Aaron William Perry. And today we're doing a special Thanksgiving holiday shopping and regenerative economics episode. And I thought I would share a few of the slides and key points that we use to help educate our ambassador network. And also am really excited to share with you a whole bunch of new affiliate partnerships that we've established here at the Y on Earth community to support our community mobilization work and to bring you some amazing Y on Earth approved products for your holiday shopping and giving. And so I am so happy to share a lot of this with you. I've got a lot of fun products to show you and tell you about. And so before getting to those, by the way, there are going to be a number of discounts available for you on these products. And before showing you those, I thought I'd share a few slides, like I said, that we use to talk about regenerative economics. What does that mean? How does that look and work? And how is that a key driving force in our global work together to restore and heal and create stewardship and regenerative oriented lifeways and economies in our partnership networks all around the globe. So here we'll bring up some slides. There we go. So this is our Thanksgiving and holiday giving celebration episode, and you'll see here an image from a beautiful leadership summit that we hosted back in 2019. And this is right before a bunch of us were about to plant a number of baby blue spruces. You can see us holding those there, and you'll probably recognize a handful of faces in the picture there. Several of those folks have been guests on our podcast episodes. So I see at least 3 I recognize that would be past podcast guests. And of course, we're talking about regenerative sustainability at all scales and permeating all aspects of our work and our lives, our family and community lives, and our places of worship, our connection when we're out in nature. All of those are different aspects of our life here on this planet that we share. And regenerative sustainability in its deepest and most advanced form permeates all of those different dimensions. So when we get into the etymology of key words that we use when we're talking about regenerative economics, there are 4 I want to share with you. And some of these may be familiar to you from past episodes, and even if you've attended any of our training and education workshops. So the first is oikos, and this is a Greek term, an ancient Greek term that means home. And it turns out it's the root word from which our word eco comes. And this eco is used in both ecology and economy. And so when we're using the word ecology or the word economy, we're really meaning understanding and taking care of our home and conducting the business of our home. The word humus is a Proto-Indo-European root, hume, and a Latin term from that origin meaning soil. And of course, we love talking about the 4 keywords that relate to the same root, which are humus, human, humor, and humility. And as we share with our ambassador network, if we focus on those 4 key themes, it will likely improve our efficacy as community leaders, as educators, and probably also improve our own personal health, well-being, and quality of life. Wele is a Middle English word, and it means well-being. Interesting, it's also the root word from which our word wealth is derived. And so when we're talking about wealth in its most advanced and sophisticated understanding, it means well-being. We know in a culture like ours at the moment, uh, the notion of wealth can actually be very misleading and misunderstood. In fact, much of what we see in our world in terms of hyper consumerism, uh, obsession with things like status and appearance, that the pursuit of those superficial forms of wealth actually often undermine well being. And so it's the integration of well being with the notion of wealth, especially when we're thinking about communities, that a lot of our work and opportunity lies. Finally, is this Adamah. This is a beautiful word in the ancient Hebrew language, meaning soil, also, like humus. It means soil or clay. And of course, in the creation story found in our Judeo Christian and Islamic roots, with the creation of Adam or Adam from the soil, the Adamah, this linguistic connection indicates our deep relationship with soil as human beings, as is also expressed in that Latin term humus. So when we're thinking about our home and our economics and our ecology, we can think in expanding circles in terms of spheres of influence. And of course, in our own homes, it's likely that our influence is most acute and potent. And out from there, we're interacting with a number of different friends, stakeholders, colleagues, all kinds of folks, affecting our entire world eventually. And so when we're thinking about regenerative economics, and especially about what gifts we're choosing to give this holiday season, we can actually now orient our purchasing decisions and our activities in a way that is much more in service to the ecology and to the communities all around the planet. Because we're talking ultimately about our shared home. And I love this in the context of oikos. And yeah, of course, a great marketing campaign thought this would be a good name for a yogurt also, but I invite you to think about this deeper meaning in terms of home that this oikos points us toward. Also, when we're talking about regenerative economics, we're talking about systems and companies and rules of the game that are supporting key activities that help balance and heal our world and that help enhance our health and well-being. And the five key topics, globally speaking, are decarbonizing energy, recarbonizing soil, detoxifying our environments. This is broadly speaking, kind of outside, if you will. Of course, detoxifying our homes inside our local oikos is important, and regenerating ecosystems. And we've had several recent episodes speaking to the regenerative power of soil building and what that means in terms of stabilizing climate, in terms of boosting rural economies, in terms of enhancing health and livelihoods of communities throughout the world, and in terms of cleaning up water and providing much more healthy and nutrient-dense food to people. This regeneration function is perhaps, we might say, the most important really in a 21st century context. And of course, to do all of this as intelligently as possible and with as much sophistication as possible, we're invited to really focus in on the love, the compassion, the caring. And you'll see, I think, in some of our partnerships that love, compassion, and caring is really at the root of what we're doing. So great, we've got economics and consumer demand. Demand, of course, is one of the chapter titles in the book, Why on Earth? And I've got a copy right here that I'm planning to read a little excerpt from for you. Because when we're talking about regenerative economics, one of the key structural issues that is at the scale of the entire planet that we need to be looking at is who's serving whom. Have we conceptualized an economy where the earth and the natural resources of the earth and the people of the earth are effectively in service to the economy, which is effectively in service to the finance sector? Or alternatively, might we be moving in the direction of understanding that intelligent finance is actually working in service to the economy, which is working in service to our earth, all the living creatures of our shared ecology, and the human family living here. So when we're focusing in on our consumer demand as one of the driving forces in an economy, it's clear, it emerges that we're not just talking about technology when we're talking about stewardship and sustainability. We're also very much talking about a culture and a consciousness that is shifting toward care and compassion, regeneration, stewardship. That inside out, heart centric approach is really key. So, a real quick economics lesson, right? So, if any of you studied most basic form of economics, you'd probably remember that we have in our sort of traditional post-colonial economics a very linear notion of value creation, which has actually been broken into four sectors or stages of value creation. And the economists call these primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary, which essentially means first, second, third, and fourth. So at that first stage, that primary stage, that's what we call production. So that might be harvesting timber in a forest. That might be harvesting fish from the sea. That might be growing and harvesting food. It might be mining and oil and gas extraction, right? It's essentially taking from the bounty of Earth, whether it's renewable or non-renewable, that would all fall under the umbrella primary production. Secondary is where we add value. So now we're taking that timber from the forest and turning it into trees. Taking the trees and turning that into tables or chairs or paper or cards or even art. Right, or taking the fish and canning that for sale at the grocery store, taking the corn from the field and turning that into tortillas, for example. And then in the third stage, the tertiary stage, is essentially where the commerce kicks in vis-a-vis the public, the general public. So that's where we'll see the retail shops and the online stores selling these products and also services for our purchase. And then the quaternary, the fourth stage of value creation, is really the rarefied realms of information management, of accounting and legal work and technology. And so there's also a sense of an advancing sort of complexity, although that's a very post-colonial understanding, because as we dive deeper and deeper into the science of ecology and understand the sophistication of soil, microorganism structures, for example, we know that there is sophistication in the living biosphere of this planet that frankly dwarfs all of our human systems, even notwithstanding our supercomputing and all of our advances in technology. So that's the linear notion of what an economic system looks like. And of course, coming out of a neo-colonial era over the last few hundred years, this system has presumed, in many cases, slavery for labor sources, if not at least a labor pool that is not very well compensated or taken care of, frankly. And we see that all around the world today still. We see it in our own communities. We see it in other countries. We see it really at every kind of scale of economics throughout the world. And it's one of the things that many of us are working to heal and improve. So there's a social and an environmental component to everything that we're doing when we talk about regenerative economics. So this other diagram that you see, which is a circular diagram, is presenting a new way of thinking about economics that is much more in harmony with the regenerative patterns we see here on the planet. And so instead of a 4-node linear extraction and value-added framework, we are talking about closing the loop and adding a fifth node called the quintenary, which is where the regenerative stewardship, knowledge, wisdom, and expertise are housed, and where that human expertise is now directed back to the other four nodes, so that at every step in all of our activities, we are doing an expert job of caring for people and for planet. One of the great thought leaders in this regenerative economic movement is John Fullerton. And at his organization, he imagines the dawn of the regenerative age, in which we're focused on 8 principles of a regenerative economy. And this is going to include being in right relationship. This is going to include viewing wealth holistically, right? Back to that notion of well-being. It's going to include innovative, adaptive, and responsive problem solving vis-a-vis some of the systemic challenges that we're facing. Empowered participation is key. It honors place and community, and it's no accident that the chapter called Place is the very first chapter in the book Why on Earth. It focuses on the edge effect and on abundance, which is the natural condition of how life and biology works here on this planet. Robust circulation, it means keeping things like currency circulating and not accumulating in different pockets. And of course, the 8th principle is seeking balance. And we know balance is a key attribute of health and well-being. So when we're digging into what economics means in a broader context of our culture, we understand that through our governance mechanisms, we have this feedback loop where policy is often influenced and often even controlled by certain economic interests, and that the rules of the game are established through that policy, right? And so when we talk about a free market economy, there really is no such thing, right? There are all kinds of rules and regulations, from the tax code to various antitrust regulations, for example, environmental regulations. There are all kinds of rules that have been established. And those rules are going to help determine which companies out there are making great concentrated profits, which will feed back into the policy influence and control node. Now, at the node of the concentrating profits in financial capital, we're going to see another loop emerge. This is where the advertising and marketing influence is very much determining what many of us are going to purchase, our consumer demand response, and that is going to further drive capital and profits in certain directions. So we can see in the 20th century where there's been a whole lot of that happening in such a way that hasn't been very good for our planet or for ourselves, our health, our well-being, the health of our children and our communities, and certainly the health of many of the agriculture and manufacturing communities all around the planet. However, this is the same force we can direct toward compassionate, stewardship and regenerative-oriented patterns and behaviors. And so when we overlay the 33 chapters of Why on Earth in this beautiful mandala, we can see that we actually have tremendous power to choose the products out there that are enhancing environmental sustainability, enhancing social equity, and that we can even launch and grow social enterprises, companies whose products and services are specifically geared to enhancing that positive feedback loop. When we're talking about regenerative economics, we're necessarily also going to end up talking about money. And one of my very favorite books, The Future of Money, I recommend you check out if you're interested in diving deeper into this topic. Bernard Lietaer, a friend of mine who passed last year, was one of the technocratic team who created the convergence mechanism when many of the European countries were converting their national currencies into the euro a few decades ago. And so it was, the French franc converting to the euro, the German Deutschmark converting to the euro, and so on. And Bernard, in this future of money presents an incredible outlay of what's possible for our future, and presents that in terms of 4 different scenarios. 2 of them are really horrible, and one of them is truly amazing, and that's the one we're working toward. This is a quote here from Bernard, and it says, "Greed and competition are not the result of immutable human temperament. Greed and fear of scarcity are in fact being created and amplified. The direct consequence is that we have to fight with each other in order to survive." So this is Bernard recognizing that a big part of the mythology which has informed our neo-colonial economics is a mythology of scarcity and a mythology of competition, a mythology that says greed is good. And this is part of what we have to turn on its head in our work together. Because after all, we're talking about the commons, we're talking about our shared home, whether it's the water or the atmosphere or the climate or the environmental conditions of the places where we live and work, and the places where a whole lot of other humans are living and working. This is what we share in common, and this is what we are invited to steward. And so when we're thinking about some of these abstract economic models, let's just remember that we're talking about our own lives and the lives of millions of human beings around the planet and our environments and the lives of countless millions and billions of animals and other creatures. That is what we're influencing every day with our purchasing decisions. It's as if whenever we buy anything, we're sending signals all around the planet that are saying, whatever we just bought, we want somebody to make more of that. So when we're buying toxic products or products whose production technology means that toxicity is being spewed into regions and communities around the world, whenever we buy that one product, we're sending a signal to the world saying, hey, make more of that, do more of that. And on the other hand, when we're buying very non-toxic, environmentally safe, socially conscious products, we're sending those signals out there to the economy saying, hey, we want more of that. And that's the power of consumer demand. In the book, Why on Earth, there are 4 chapters in particular, demand, work, earn, and give, that speak to this power. And I want to read a little excerpt for you. This is from Jared Diamond, whose book, Guns, Germs, and Steel, is very well known. And he subsequently wrote a book called Collapse, looking at different cultures from around the world and from different periods of time that have appeared to collapse from an archaeological perspective. And in his research, he found some common threads and themes leading to those collapses. And here's what he says. To me, the conclusion that the public has the ultimate responsibility for the behavior of even the biggest businesses is empowering and hopeful, rather than disappointing. My conclusion is not a moralistic one about who is right or wrong, admirable or selfish, a good guy or a bad guy. My conclusion is instead a prediction based on what I have seen happening in the past. Businesses have changed when the public came to expect and require different behavior, to reward businesses for behavior that the public wanted, and to make things difficult for businesses practicing behaviors that the public didn't want. I predict that in the future, just as in the past, changes in public attitudes will be essential for changes in businesses' environmental practices. So that's Jared Diamond in his book Collapse, speaking to the power of consumer demand, the power we are wielding as individuals and families and communities regarding this massive global economy in which we're all connected. And so real quick, 2 pillars we focus on at the Y on Earth community are thriving on the one hand and sustainability on the other. And thriving has in it the 5 essential areas of personal practice that enhance the health and wellness of ourselves and our families and our neighborhoods. And this has to do with food, the movement of our bodies, connection with nature, connection specifically with soil, and our well-being practices. That includes playing music, practicing yoga, perhaps meditating, and so forth. Then on the sustainability side, we have 6 core themes that pertain to the macro dynamics and systems in which we're all participating. And this is where we find stewardship and regeneration to be essential. How we're doing energy and agriculture is absolutely critical and central to this. And of course, choice, which is another way of saying our demand, our consumer demand, our political demand, that is driving so much. And finally, kindness. We can fix all the technical challenges, but if we're not cultivating a culture of kindness, we can very easily end up in a terrible situation. And I think it's obvious to most of us that we've seen way too little kindness in our culture as of late. We're talking about our global community. Brown, black, yellow, red, green, purple, whatever our identities are, whatever our ethnic heritages are, whatever indigenous peoples we come from all around the planet, we are one human family. And speaking of one human family, these are the 17 sustainable development goals we have established as one human family through the United Nations body, where we convene as a global community. And you'll see that the number 17 goal, the final goal, is partnerships and collaboration. And that is one of my very favorite, because that is indeed a big part of what we're up to at the Y on Earth community. And we are now launching our affiliate partnership program. And we've already established these partnership connections with several wonderful companies. Many of these companies are B certified. That's through the B Corp certification regime. Many of them are providing products that are organic certified, fair trade certified, and doing even more beyond that. And that includes Purium, Chelsea Green, the publisher, Zen Bunny, certified biodynamic coffee, and they have chocolate too. Wele Waters, which is our in-house social enterprise where we're making all manner of biodynamically grown hemp-infused soaking salts, massage oils, and salves. Earth Hero, which has an amazing array of products for your household use, your business use. Vera Herbals is doing incredible work with herbal medicine and mushroom-based medicines. They have an amazing spagyrics lab in Carbondale, Colorado that was featured in a recent podcast episode. Earth Water Press is another of our in-house social enterprises, publishing books and amplifying voices for our world. Growing Spaces is a beautiful company making these geodesic greenhouse grow domes. They've also been featured in a podcast episode recently. Of course, Soilworks is a third in-house social enterprise offering beautiful, potentized, biodynamic soil activation and fertilizer products. And then finally, last but not least, is Zeal Optics. And these guys are making wonderful sunglasses and goggles using plant-based plastics and recycled plastics. So in our community of affiliate partners, we're also launching our Y on Earth approved logo, which is how we designate these companies that meet certain social and environmental standards. Now, these next few slides are going to show you a bit of the products available and how you can get discounts when you're shopping and buying these products for upcoming gift giving for the holidays and beyond. So here's Earth Hero. They have over 7,000 sustainability products, and you'll see in there, they've got clothing, shirts, they've got to-go wear bamboo utensils you can use instead of the disposable utensils. Of course, with COVID, that's even more important right now. They've got all kinds of detergents. They've got socks and shirts and items for babies, items for the pets, all manner of household goods and goods you would use in your office, in your house of worship. You can get a 10% discount at Earth Hero by following the link here and using the code Y on Earth. Vera Herbals, of course, our friends Tyler and Nicole are offering a beautiful line of spagyric and herbal tinctures, and of course the mushroom-based supplements like the lion's mane you see in the image here. They make beautiful salves, and you can get a 10% discount with them at the veraherbals.com/partnerships/y-on-earth. We'll have all the links in the show notes too for ease of connecting. Purium is working directly with a number of organic farmers and growers to provide a whole array of health and nutrition products. And if you go to ishoppurium.com and use the code Y on Earth, you'll get a 25% discount. And of course, in these partnership and affiliate programs, these companies are also giving a portion of the proceeds back to our nonprofit, the Y on Earth community, to help support our community mobilization work and to help support our podcast episode series. So this is a great way not only to get the best, healthiest, most sustainable products for your gift giving, but also to help give back to the Y on Earth community as you're doing that. And it's a real win-win as you're getting these great discounts. Here's Chelsea Green Publishing. They're publishing a whole array of homesteading, do-it-yourself, fermenting, organic agriculture, regenerative agriculture books and resources. ChelseaGreen.com. YOE10 is the code you can use there for your 10% discount. Of course, we just recently did an episode with the author Judith Schwartz, whose book, The Reindeer Chronicles, a must-read for those of us doing regenerative work, was published by Chelsea Green. Here's growing spaces. These are just beautiful greenhouse grow domes, geodesic domes that are incredibly strong, structurally speaking. And so they have durability that goes above and beyond most greenhouse scenarios and products, and can withstand tremendous hail and other weather that might be damaging, as well as tremendous wind loads. You can go to growingspaces.com/Y on Earth to get a 5% discount. Now, these are products that cost many thousands of dollars, and so they're great for schools, by the way. And if you're connected with a school, we can connect you directly with Growing Spaces to perhaps do an even better partnership deal, because they are collaborating with many schools throughout the country. But just to get your dome for your own yard or community, you'll get at least a 5% discount when you go through the Y on Earth link. Okay, here's Zeal. My goodness, we're really excited about our partnership with Zeal. These guys are really leading the way when it comes to plant-based plastics and recycled plastics, and they're very advanced goggles and sunglasses. You go to zealop.link/Y on Earth and you'll get a 10% discount on those products. Here's Zen Bunny, and these guys are providing certified biodynamic coffee, which is just a tremendous offering. And you can use the code Y on Earth to get a 10% discount with the Zen Bunny products. Okay, here's Wele Waters. So I make these by hand, and as we're scaling, the business will be employing mothers and grandmothers to make these hemp-infused soaking salts, salves, and massage and body oils to bring health and well-being into all of our lives. And we are sourcing the hemp from biodynamic and organic farms throughout Colorado, who are growing the CBD hemp in the cleanest and most potentized manner, so that the medicinal properties of these infused oils and salts and salves are at a very high level of efficacy. WeleWaters.com is the website, and we have lots of fun resources there talking about the different aromatherapy blends and why those essential oils are bringing additional healing and well-being properties to us. And if you use the code Y on Earth, you'll get a 10% discount on all the Wele Water products. Now, I want to mention too that we have monthly subscriptions available starting at $33 a month. And this is a fabulous way to give the gift of wellness to friends and family for the holidays. When you sign up, whoever is receiving the monthly shipment will get jars and salves and tins sent monthly to help maintain that regular practice of soaking and health and wellness. It's so important for all of us, and especially in these times. Soilworks, we're also making in-house. And if you go to soilworks.com and use the code Y on Earth, you'll be getting 10% discounts there. And these are potentized biodynamic blends for the garden, for the farm, the homestead, and even your house plants, and bringing additional health, well-being, nutrition, and microorganisms to the soil ecology in which your plants and medicines are growing. Soilworks is a beautiful product. I really hope you guys will check that out. Now, just a brand new product offering we have are these beautiful hats. We've got 4 different colors: Pacific Navy Blue, chocolate, salmon, and olive green. $33 per hat. These hats are made with 100% organic cotton and recycled polyester, trucker style. Really cool. So you can get your 10% discount on those as well, making it more like $30 a hat instead of $33, something like $29. When you go to yonearth.org/market and use the code Y on Earth. Of course, at the yonearth.org site, we've got a lot of other beautiful products for soil and for community mobilization. This is our Community Mobilization Kit here that comes with video instructions, documentation, a copy of the Soil Stewardship Handbook, and a jar of the Soilworks biodynamic soil activator. So this is a whole kit you can use in your community, in your neighborhood, to activate soil with your neighbors, your friends, your colleagues. We encourage you to check that out. Because when we're doing these soil activation stirs together, which is what you see in the image on the left, it brings us all together, causing us to engage in a very simple and beautiful ceremony of stewardship and regeneration. And then we take the water into which we've stirred the Soilworks product, and then we sprinkle it all around the landscape, into our gardens, into our yards. And of course, because we're not working with anything toxic, we get to stir this up with our hands and experience the direct benefits and serotonin producing consequences of interacting with those beneficial microorganisms that are in the product. Here's our third in-house social enterprise, which is Earth Water Press. And this is our publishing arm through which we've published a myriad of books through the Y on Earth community, and also books for some of our other friends who are authors. And if you're interested in connecting with us to get your book published, just give us a holler. And otherwise, you can source all kinds of books here at earthwaterpress.com using the code Y on Earth for your 10% discount there. And including the books we have here for the Y on Earth community, the Soil Stewardship Handbook, as I mentioned, the tome Y on Earth, which is the 33 chapters covering all of this in a comprehensive manner, and of course our growing series of children's books that includes celebrating honeybees. Now we've got a poetry book available as well called Poesis. This is illustrated by my son Hunter, who's now an architecture and environmental design student. And I thought it would be fun to read you a poem out of here to celebrate our Thanksgiving time together. And it's a poem called What If? And I wrote this earlier this year. And it goes like this: what if humanity is on the brink of a great awakening? What if there is a pause? And what if awesome, humble, healing powers get activated among thousands of us? tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands? What if the great Veritas, the healing green biophotonic light, gets generated and transmitted across millions of nodes worldwide? What if Raphael and thousands of angels are here now to help us heal? Will you feel it? Will you see it? Will you be it? What if? So that's one of the poems in this collection of poetry from the past 25 years. And it's one of my favorite poems that's speaking to the fact that our future is really in our hands and that we're all in this together. We share one great home, one great oikos. And as we cultivate a connection with place and we grow and water and harvest and cook and eat and work with our wastes in intelligent ways and steward and balance and unplug and walk and wonder and connect and delight and listen and think and speak and demand and work and earn and give and make and build and move and power and envision and create change and cultivate and love and pray and heal and create culture together that is grounded in the ethics of stewardship and regeneration and sustainability. What will that look like? As our global community deepens in our collaborations together, as we're collaborating with more and more amazing organizations like Demeter and Dr. Bronner's and Patagonia and the Rodale Institute, who have launched the Regenerative Organic Certification Program, and who are led by chief scientists like Dr. Yichao Rui, who of course was featured on podcast episode 89, in which we talked about the white paper they recently published called Regenerative Agriculture and the Soil Carbon Solution, an example of the many experts and ambassadors we're working with all around the world. And here's an indication of many of our other ambassadors living here in the United States, here in North America, throughout the Pacific Island region, over in Saudi Arabia, even throughout Europe and Asia and Africa. We are connecting with more and more people, and you're invited to become a part of this movement as we establish greater regenerative economic behaviors, patterns, and opportunities all throughout the world. And it's interesting to think about the power of these times with our communication technologies and our access to information, to knowledge, to wisdom. And in one of my favorite essays called The Meta-Industrial Village, written by William Irwin Thompson, in a book, a collection of essays called Darkness and Scattered Light, he says this, he says, for the first time in human evolution, the individual life is long enough and the cultural transformation swift enough that the individual mind is now a constituent player in the global transformation of human culture. That is a hopeful statement. And I think it also implies, as we become more and more aware and awake to this reality, that we also understand our responsibility. And of course, one of the beautiful ways in the time of holiday gift giving we can exercise that responsibility is through these beautiful partnerships and product offerings. One of the ways that we're activating these kinds of ethics around the world through our Community Impact Ambassador Network is with this brand new set of achievement badges that we're in the process of rolling out through these winter months. We've got achievement badges for people who have attended our leadership summits, people who host events, people who participate in biodynamic soil activation, people who are generating wonderful video content to share, people who are affiliates of the Y on Earth products or of the Wele products. And our Grandmother's Council, that beautiful image you see in the upper middle part of the badge grid here, for the divine feminine wisdom embodied by the elder women in our communities. This is my friend Brigitte Mars, who's on our Grandmother Council as well as on our Global Advisory Board. This is an example of some of the achievement badges she's already achieved. And then here's my son Hunter, and he's achieved several of the badges available through the Y on Earth community. And so this spans many generations and many walks, many interests, many career paths, many backgrounds. It's a very beautiful group of folks growing all around the world. Here's a map indicating some of our work already thus far, just in the United States, and here's some of our work globally. And when it comes to sacred stewardship, which is another dimension of regenerative economics, there's a beautiful passage from Patanjali I'd love to share with you to wrap up. When you are inspired by some great purpose, some extraordinary project, all your thoughts break their bonds. Your mind transcends limitations. Your consciousness expands in every direction, and you find yourself in a new, great, and wonderful world. Dormant forces, faculties, and talents become alive, and you discover yourself to be a greater person by far than you ever dreamed yourself to be. So, on behalf of the Y on Earth community, I wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving, and am so excited to share this special episode with you as we head into the holiday season together, into this winter time of reflection, of course, in the Northern Hemisphere, that is, of approaching the solstice and the sacred days of the holidays we celebrate in the wintertime together. And I want to just show you a few of my favorite products before signing off here that I've got with me. From Earth Hero, I love their bag, shop like you give a shit. At least I think that's what that says. There's a tree where the eye might be. We've got that. We've got the Soilworks product in the jar here. We've got the Vera Herbals. See if you can see this with the light right there. Tinctures and amazing salves and spagyrics. Also from Earth Hero, we've got toys like these for our pets. These are chew toys that are made with recycled plastic bottles, are eco-friendly and tough. We've got beautiful socks. And when you buy the socks at Earth Hero, you're helping support tropical rainforest protection efforts. You've got these wonderful bamboo utensils to carry with you so that you no longer have to use those disposable utensils. They've even got biodegradable sandwich bags for the kids going to school or maybe going on a hike, what have you. At Zeal, we've got these amazing ski goggles and sunglasses made from plant-based plastics and recycled plastics. And these guys make just awesome products. And they're doing tree planting and coral ocean protection work all around the planet. So whenever you're getting these products from Zeal, you know you're helping take care of some of these big challenges we're facing. Back to Earth Hero, here's one of the big hydro flasks they offer, and they've got coffee mugs and all kinds of great stuff for the kitchen. And then, of course, here's our collection of hats for Y on Earth. We've got the Pacific navy blue, we've got the chocolate, we've got the salmon color, and we've got the olive color. Some beautiful, beautiful colors there. And I love that that's 100% organic cotton, as well as recycled polyester, in which from which those hats are made. The Wele soaking salts are really amazing. The salves are new products being launched right now. These are also incredible in terms of pain relief and helping, whether it's from arthritis or a car accident, whatever it might be, it really helps with the pain. And our massage and body oils are just exquisite. We've got a handful that are blended aromatherapy combos that are beautiful, sensual massage experiences. We've got the Aphrodisia blend, the Velvet blend, which is chocolate and lavender together. And then we've got daily beard and body oils like the Forest, the Sunrise, and the Nectar is great for all of the above. So there's 7 to choose from there. So this is just a sampling of everything that's available in our emerging affiliate network. And it's such a joy to be able to share all this with you. I appreciate you tuning in for this special Thanksgiving and holiday shopping episode, and hope you enjoy a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. Hope you get outside for part of it to listen to the birds and hopefully breathe some fresh air. And heading into these winter months and these holidays, may you have a joyful, peaceful, reflective time to anticipate all the work we'll be doing together in the coming year. So take care, my friends, and a huge shout out to everyone supporting the Wine Earth community's work and supporting our podcast episode series in particular, and our community mobilization work, of course. And I hope you all have a wonderful holiday, and hope you take care. Hope to see you again real soon. Bye, everybody.
The Y on Earth Community's Stewardship and Sustainability podcast series is hosted by Aaron William Perry, author, thought leader, and executive consultant. The podcast and video recordings are made possible by the generous support of people like you. To sign up as a daily, weekly, or monthly supporter, please visit yonearth.org/support. Support packages start at just $1 per month. The podcast series is also sponsored by several corporate and organization sponsors. You can get discounts on their products and services using the code YONEARTH, all one word with a Y. These sponsors are listed on the yonearth.org/support page. If you found this particular podcast episode especially insightful, informative, or inspiring, please pass it on and share it with a friend whom you think will also enjoy it. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your support. And thank you for being a part of the Y on Earth community.